Hello.
Hello, hello.
So, this is the first attempt at a rambling podcast
Yeah,
by gamers. Rambling podcast of gamers.
we hadn't thought of a real name
Random
for it. That's a pretty good choice for now.
RPG? Yes, I concur with this. It's the RPG, the Rambling Podcast by Gamers. So this particular one is about the robbery. You may have heard it mentioned a few times in some of our videos. What had happened was on February 17th, 2024, Play It Again Games, an actual business store location, was robbed.
Yeah, they cut power to the unit, broke in from the front door, kicked in our rear door to get in access to the store, and then pretty much attempted to take as much as they could.
So, yeah, we'll lay out what happened first, which is, like Krimic said,
Yeah.
they cut the power not only to our unit, but the whole
Yeah,
building.
the entire building.
So the entire building went down, which there are computer businesses in here too, man. They, that fucked them up. So they cut the whole building so they knew what they were doing. They then came up, they pried the doors open, kicked the other one, they broke display cases. And then after they realized display cases weren't locked, they went and grabbed
what they could left afterwards.
Yeah, pretty much. And they also started just clearing off shelves, like literally swiping everything off of a shelf.
Took everything that was more expensive because they were in the display cases. They also took our discs for all the Xbox, PlayStations,
Later
Segas,
Nintendos,
all of those.
yeah, everything.
Because they were under the counter behind the glass as well.
Because that's,
so.
kind of like how GameStop has their pull-out drawer of discs. That's what we were doing. So they found those and took all of them except for 10. And the, 5 to 10 discs we forgot in the box on the shelf.
It looks like we left a few in the boxes. So,
it was a fun surprise time there. Between that and all the handhelds, because they took all the handheld stuff, all the games, just off the shelf.
Didn't take consoles. They took some accessories, but only because they were in the display case.
They took a bunch of Atari games.
Yeah.
And we don't know why. They started clearing off the shelf for Sega. And Sega was closest to the door. They're taking the case and everything. Yeah. So we think they got spooked or something, because it doesn't make sense to start doing that and then not do it for any other system.
Yeah, and they kind of stopped in the middle. It made sense that they probably spooked and left or had their own time frame that they wanted to go from.
Let's go ahead and go over each of our own reactions of the morning of. So, our worker, Brendan Nuki, the whiner and some of the voices you may hear in the games. He was coming in for his morning Saturday shift, and I believe you were going to be there too.
I was already driving in. So.
Yeah, I was going to be with a Girl Scout cookie booth, so I wasn't actually going to be in that morning, and he called you first, I imagine, then.
Yeah, I knew there was no power to the building because I talked to the guys downstairs, and we were without internet because we come off of here. And in general, I knew we were without power. I just didn't think to ask why at the time. Yeah. As soon as Nuki called and said, we've been broken into, I'm like, that's why we had no power. And that's why somebody took the power meters off of the wall, off of the building. That's how they disabled power.
You know, in the movies, you got that 2 little meters that, constantly with the things that say how much electricity. Yeah, they took those apart to take down the power. And they did this in the middle of a snowstorm. So it's wet, and it's cold, and it's at 2:21 in the morning when we lose power for the building.
Yep.
So did you call the cops, or was he calling the cops?
I had Nuki call them because I was still driving. So
gotcha.
By the time I got here, they were already here. So it was nice that they kind of got here quickly.
That's good. That's a good response time, at least.
Generally, the guy that got here before me, he couldn't go in yet. He had to wait till the regular officers came in to scope the place and all that stuff.
Yeah.
See, because they don't want anybody coming in. Obviously, we didn't want to touch too much of the doors and stuff until they came in.
And they were able to grab, prints, anything else, photo evidence, shit like that. So you were already going in and got a quick message. I was sleeping in because the snow made the Girl Scouts go, no, we ain't selling Girl Scout cookies in the goddamn snow. No, I don't curse while at Girl Scouts, okay? I'm actually a good Girl Scout. But they canceled the booth, so I got to sleep in. So at 11:15, because my brain went, oh, I should have been at the booth if we had the booth. Freaked out when Nuki called me and go, we were broken into. But I thought it was his house.
Yeah.
I first thought he was talking about his house. I'm like, oh man, okay, well, is everyone okay? Do you need time off? Like, what's, he goes, yeah, the front door is broken and everything. I'm like, okay, that's pretty bad. Yeah, the cops here at the store. Wait, what do you mean store? What do you mean our store? We were broken, like game store? He's like, yeah, the game store. I'm like, holy shit, that means I probably got to get up 1, 2, god damn it. And then I proceed to ask him, and it must have been before you got there. Or
yeah, I told him to let you know too while I'm still driving.
Because he's like, yeah, it's probably best that the person who's signing all the paperwork should probably actually be there. I'm like, all right. It was a turbulent day.
Yeah.
I think you and I both were in shock for the first 24 hours.
Yeah, it didn't really set in. I mean, we were immediate. We need to clean up, do all that stuff, get it cleaned up, and prepare what we need to do next. Second day, immediate anger, more or less than anything else, because that day that we were actually robbed, we had a customer come in. He was actually wanting to try to get a little bit of stuff repaired, and that was one of the only things they took out of the repairs area was his stuff, and
That was
it was a little kid, and
that was like
just
a
made me angry immediately after
because
that.
not only so they came in through the back hallway, and then on the way they saw a few things on our repair shelves without realizing that's a repair shelf and that they're mostly busted, and they took those. But then I guess realized that, wait, let's not grab stuff with people's information papers on them, and proceed to work their way into the store itself.
Yeah.
So we had to apologize to customers that it wasn't even our fault that we were robbed, but we were robbed.
Yeah.
What was it, Monday you put a post on Facebook about how annoyed you were with everything?
Yeah.
For me, it was shock because this is our first business. I've never run a business before. I don't know all the paperwork that goes into this. Talking to police about what we do and how messy of an organization we still got, of which I'm in charge of organizing.
I mean, we've come a long ways in the 7 years we've been open.
Right?
So, I mean,
but I'm still a messy person when it comes to paperwork. So me going, I don't know actually everything we have, and I didn't realize I should be just recording everything. So it was a nerve-wracking, and then I didn't know about what kind of insurance we needed. When I got insurance for us for our workman comp and other stuff, went, whatever, full package, I'm sure it's fine, we'll pay for it, it'd be okay. Luckily, that saved our ass.
Yeah.
Because I did actually have an insurance package to cover over the things that were stolen. The insurance people were like, well, we're not going to do that again for you, and we won't want to keep you on, but that's a different matter entirely. And then I got a call from my mom. Let me start over. The 3 months leading to this were shit for me.
And it hasn't changed. It's been just as bad throughout the...
We'll get to that part. We got to build proper. I lost my car in December because someone who didn't see me because their entire engine block was the height of my car as they were sitting higher on it, and wrecked my car. And then between that and January's tax season, I had been busy with paperwork, constant. So I've been stealing my mom's car to borrow and use. So that day I was going to transfer the car back to her to try to, so she can do stuff that she needs to do. Well, I just kind of work from home or work at the shop and get rides here and there. And she calls, she goes, hey, are we still trading cars? What's going on? I'm like, I can't right now, Mom. I can't. We've been robbed. The video game store has been robbed. I'm dealing with a lot. I just don't. We'll figure this out later.
Figure it out later.
And I kind of hung up on her briefly because I'm back here looking through paperwork. I'm trying to pull every damn paperwork I can. 2 hours later, my mom calls back and goes, okay, I've gathered the family. We're gathering all the spare games we got, and we'll be there shortly. I'm like, how the fuck are you going to be here? What? And then she's like, it's okay. We'll get this.
We'll get it.
And I'm like, the fuck? Okay. And she comes, and they give us the spare games that they had. Just it was so heartwarming that I end up breaking down crying of oh my God, my family who is on disabilities and cannot pay for shit are we're going to gather the money. We're going to rally the troops. We'll be fine. I'm like, well, thank you. And that's the day I broke down. So my shock broke down halfway through.
Yeah.
But then I was already starting to see the camaraderie gathering around us. So my few months have been shit. We are starting to get to a normalcy.
Yeah.
Poor Ronnie Crimmins over here then had his turbulent time.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get stable. I got myself a car. I got things settled. My family's getting their surgeries. And Ronnie...
Yeah, my dad passed on April 1st. Worst April Fool's joke ever.
Right?
We made that comment when the people come to us in the ER. Yeah, I mean, it's been a time. We've had family ailments throughout the years. He was the one we expected to outlive from my parents because my mother's had diabetes and all these different things.
And
for so many
and stuff.
We figured her ailments would make it so she was
more likely to go
first. But in general, it doesn't matter which one went first. It's at this point we just had to bunker down as a family now
and support each other.
A couple years ago when my wife passed, the same thing happened. I probably have mentioned it in the video or so, most likely, but in general, we wanted as minimalistic as possible. I mean, I'm
Both for
pretty sure
costs and because you know what? Sometimes people don't want to have a funeral like they used to.
we're
You
all
know?
recluses. We didn't want to go to funerals anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in general, we don't want to force people to go to do this
Right.
unless they really want to. So, we're just going to have a small family gathering next month.
So yeah, like literally the past several weeks, Crim McSharney has been literally having to deal
Yeah.
with a death in the family of a sudden nature. It's not like he even could tell, like they went into sick and they went to hospital and they could tell it was growing.
No.
No, it was a sudden thing. So after we get fucking stable at the shop, something
Yeah,
else happens.
Something else.
So now the videos are out of whack, and now we have to, the other worker and I have to be here more often because you know what? We actually care about people getting fucking bereavement.
Yeah.
People should have time for their goddamn families when they have to deal with a death in the family, because you know what? That's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
That's a lot of emotional stress and upset and things like that, and that's...
Of course, just like here, I'm the grunt work. I do all the grunt work at the house too. My daughter does most of the finances and stuff like that there. So
good to know you are absolutely allergic to paperwork.
Yes, I mean, I cover my own bills and do my stuff like that in the household, but she has been doing their finances for years.
Which
Me and my wife
honestly
even
puts her in
moved
a
in.
better position to be able to take over and keep it up,
Yeah.
kind of thing. She was already situated as there. But it's just one of those things of, goddamn, this year has been just a constant fucking black eye to us. But we're doing marvelously because the community has rallied behind us and has shown faith and consideration for what we've been doing. I believe, was it Sunday? No, it must have been that day. I posted on Facebook about it, in our a couple of groups of what's happening in Winchester, and on my personal Facebook and stuff like that. And we learned some interesting things.
Yeah.
We learned that there were 2 other places in Winchester that were also hit within the last month and a half from that time.
Pretty much in the same time frame type deal.
Right. Now, normally this wouldn't be a thing. 'Cause you know what? There's probably robberies all the time. We don't know. It's Winchester. But what made it different is, 1, that it was only games that were stolen. 2, that the building's powers were cut. And that is very, very, a specific kind of method for when you're going to go steal. Each time you hit, you cut the power so that the cameras don't work, and so that no one sees what you're doing, and so that no lights go on by accident. That's a method to do repeatedly. So that told us it was a serial robber, essentially. That it was a concentrated effort and focused.
And the fact that they took
Target.
games, the other 2 locations were thrift shops, basically. So they had jewelry and all kinds of stuff. They took none of that. They just took games. So that's what they were after.
And that's kind of what pointed to us of, like, this is a set operating thing, and that these guys were not going to stay in Winchester. Because the places they hit, which was Precious Treasures and Applejack's Resale, they're essentially like indoor flea markets. Whereas you rent a location to vendor from, and it was 2 different vendors. So it wasn't like the whole place got hit. It literally was, they went in and saw that this vendor had games and that vendor had games, and they went for that only. Of course,
I think they took everything they had just about it from what I've heard too.
But there was a smaller kind of hit kind of thing.
Much smaller location than what we have. Heck, they're smaller than what we were in Middletown.
Yeah.
So
so essentially those were quick, simple hits, because Berryville, while it's a busy road, it's not as busy as Valley.
Yeah.
And we are right beside a Sheetz.
Yeah.
There's a gas station below us, guys. They went and tried to rob us with a gas station open 24/7 next door.
24/7 down below us.
And so that's probably why they spooked, because they realized there was a bigger hit than they were actually expecting. We lost literally 3,890 discs or items in general. Now you may ask, well, how much does almost roughly 4,000 items worth? For the market, had we managed to sell all those things, we would have made $60,000. We didn't realize we had so
Didn't
many
even realize
discs.
we had that. Yeah, I mean,
Like, we literally were going to make it a proper inventory and sort everything out this year, because we were going to ensure everything bit by bit, and then we find, oh, well, this makes it easier. What do we have left?
what do we have left?
But what we have left is actually a very strong community. The community rallied. They let us know about the other game places that were hit, and that's how we all knew about that. I think people on Facebook absolutely bugged the hell out of the Winchester Star or something, because Wednesday we got a phone call going, hey, can we talk about what happened to you guys? You know what happened? And we were inundated with donations and extra consignment and trade. And honestly, the very first thing we're going to say about that is thank you, because that has made so much of a difference.
We were taking in anything pretty much gaming related. Obviously, the discs were the most valuable part because that's what we lost the most.
We had a huge selection of PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360 was getting up to it, and there was
thousands of titles in both of those two sections.
Yeah, just those alone, and it was painful.
And looking at them afterwards, where they only have like 5 or 6, something like that.
We had to take
because we basically emptied everything that we didn't have disc for, and most of those what we had left over were still new in box because they didn't strike the shelves themselves.
Yeah, because we kept the new in box sealed on the shelf because it made sense. But people came.
Yeah, community really rose and helped a lot.
And honestly, that helped a lot with how bad it felt after the robbery, because to see immediately everyone gathering of like, no, you guys deserve a break. You're a small business. We like you. Like old and new and past customers going, my God, these people are so nice. They have great customer service. Ronnie and Brendan have been doing an excellent job at keeping the customer service because I do all the background paperwork stuff. But they were doing an excellent job of keeping us at a 4.5 5-star review constantly. And to have the community swell up, we've seen more people in the past month and a half than we had for what with the robbery still beat our earnings from last year. We beat in the month that we were robbed.
Closed for a week and a half.
Right.
During that same time.
And it's a hell of a testament to the community and to our customers and to the interest of retro video games.
Yeah.
That not only were people willing to trade in and like constantly trade in, and I don't think we're going to see a good chunk of these people again. They were willing to give it to us, but we, being honorable folks, would not just let them give it. We're like, no, let us give you something in back. We can't just take this. It doesn't feel right.
I mean, I literally made a couple donators become consignment because their items were way too expensive to take.
Some people were going deep into their collections.
As bad as we were hit, it was one of those things I can't take a $200 machine.
We couldn't in good conscience do that. It's humbling and entirely grateful. And honestly, it's heartwarming. We're going to obviously be having a cookout on our anniversary. Yeah. We told Winchester people that, what's happening in Winchester. Hopefully we'll get actually more people come by this time. And honestly, just as a thank you.
I mean, it's going to be twofold. It's our anniversary date during that weekend anyway, as well as appreciation for as much help and support we got for these last couple months. It's been a turbulent thing. YouTube's probably seen a good chunk of that because of the factor that I was originally doing like 5 videos a week, and at the beginning we were keeping up pretty well, but that hit. Now we're back down to 2. And a lot of people say, oh, this must be the dream job, just doing this stuff. There's a lot of stuff to deal with in the background.
Yeah.
It's a stressful time. I mean, just running the business in general is stressful.
That's literally why we have 2 of us as business owners, so that one person alone doesn't have all of this. I can't imagine.
It needs to be a team. Something like this would never be done by one person. There's no way.
It's like, I can't imagine just one person doing this, because the paperwork alone would swamp you for months.
If it was a one owner, they would have to have an accountant. They would have to have all these different things covering everything.
Because it would be
we're just fortunate that we use Square for the POS system and stuff, and it does pretty much all the inventory and stuff for us too. So
yeah, we just have to figure out how to get to it. Yeah, Square's pretty good. Not exactly user friendly, but it works for what it's trying to do, and it's improving, honestly. But this video is meant to be an update for every one of our viewers. I'll use
status of the store, status of the channel, how things are going.
Yeah, and you know what?
We do plan on trying to do some more podcasts. That we originally planned on starting to do those early this year, but unfortunately, due to everything.
So much has happened that every time we're like, oh, we can progress, we can do this, we can. No, fuck you. No, wow, God, not
life says no.
Right? Up your fist. Nah. But despite all the bad luck and all the trepidation that life is absolutely trying to dump on us, we're going to keep going. We've shown through numbers and community and dedication of us and our worker that this is a working business model, and that we can keep going, and that we will keep going, and that we will keep growing.
I think the first couple of days we were so far down, we were thinking, is this it? I mean, is it going to be it? And then just looking at the sheer amount of inventory we still had, it's like, well, no, we still got plenty here, and we got plenty of this to put out on the shelf. It's just going to take time to get it back up. So we closed a couple weeks to just try to funnel as many things back on the shelf as possible.
Honestly,
taking the donations.
Because we're so honorable, we actually test our games.
Yeah.
So we literally have a full-ass bookshelf full of like at least a couple of hundred of games back
Mm-hmm.
there that we haven't tested. We haven't had a chance to sit and go through it and make sure it works because we want to make sure it works.
We even keep the discs that don't work because you can kind of see on the far corner over there behind Wolfie, there is a little blue and white top over there. That's one of the disc cleaners that actually can do disc restores. We bought 2 new ones just to be prepared.
Yeah.
We tried the little bitty guys,
No,
they just didn't work.
We killed 2 itty bitty guys and then killed 3 of the bigger ones because we just absolutely have done thousands of machines. And guess what? That's actually a very solid investment, no matter what.
JFJ has been a good company. I mean, yes, it's not the biggest, best one that you can get, but the ones that we've had have been really nice and they do really well. They're not 100%. Unfortunately, it's a couple discs that we just still don't seem to, even though they look good, they still don't work. So,
and honestly, that's more like a fault of either the disc
probably,
or the rating.
The pickiness of the console probably is more than anything.
Honestly, without all the stuff it's a miracle we're able to get so much of it still work.
Yeah.
So the fact that it still works, that we're still here, and that even after losing all of our discs-based games, that we had all accessories and the cartridge-based, and the community has rallied enough to have at least some discs on the shelf. I'll probably take pictures to be able to show.
Yeah.
But we're able to swing it through. And you know what? We're going to be coming back stronger than ever. We actually have backup plans and actual things in place. So you know what? Anybody who thinks about robbing us, guess again.
Yeah.
Guess again. It's going to be even harder. And it's been a time.
It's been a long repair time, and we're still got a little bit left over to do. But we're
it's
slowly
still gonna take time to recover. But honestly, we're gonna be making it. We're gonna be okay. And we thank you guys for that. And that's the state of a union of the rambling podcast by gamers.
I like that name, actually. That's good. Probably stick.
Right? I think it's hilarious that it's RPG because you know what? We love our RPGs.
Yep. I mean, that's one of the things we're branching out into for D&D and stuff like that too. So.
But yeah, you guys, we actually have a couple of board games that we want to record us playing and showcasing. So if you see it, that's why we're starting to do that. Honestly, we'll probably have a couple different rambling games just on different topics of like either nostalgia or business or news of gaming.
We got several games that we have in the works that we want to try to do. They're probably going to be slower games, so we'll probably talk through them.
But yeah,
we do want to start doing podcasts, but again, with the times and stuff what's going on, it's just not going to happen right away.
Honestly, it's not going to be one of the features of like a constant video.
Yeah, it's not a news broadcaster
Not
type
like
thing.
that. If anything, we might have one a month if we're lucky.
If we get to that point. Stuff like new stuff coming up, stuff like that. The bad news that's going around, stuff like that.
The good news, the bad news, the random news.
I mean, things we're excited about coming out, like the Fallout TV show just launched. It's pretty cool from what I've heard. I haven't had a chance to watch it.
I heard somebody say that they're fucking around with the lore, but that's what's gonna happen no matter what, essentially.
I mean, this is not the original creators, we're not getting into that.
We're not getting into that. We need to cut this off here because I can tell you're already rambling too far. We'll make another video for that. Okay. Okay. So thank you guys for watching and listening.
Thank the community again for all the support and help.
Because you know what? Without you guys, we wouldn't be half as...
It's been a stressful few months to deal with.
For sure.
But we're coming through now. We're starting to see the end of the tunnel. Yeah. The light at the tunnel, end of the tunnel type deal.
And it's not a Roadrunner one.
And hopefully you'll start seeing a little bit more video action on YouTube. Like I said, my ultimate goal was to try to do 5 a week, but we were straining to do that.
We were originally straining.
We were straining to get 2 for the longest time last year. So.
We'll discuss
more of
that.
Us now.
We're gonna discuss that in another video. This one was just to get that robbery stuff in place and let you guys know what happened and why we kept mentioning it. So thank you.
Yep, like, subscribe, comment.
See you guys in the next one.
See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy.